I'm just gonna start recording. So it's recording. It'll record for about 10 minutes before people show up. So
And you can always minimize.
true.
You can mute yourself. Mute yourself.
I'll mute and hide my face
Hide
so she doesn't. I don't think I'm rude. So how are you doing?
Tummy troubles, but otherwise pretty good.
I was hoping that the probiotics would help you.
Yeah, I seem to be having issues every so often, even with the probiotics. So it's kind of gradually getting better. I suppose today counts as stressful, since, I've done nothing and had no human contact for months. So
I didn't feel the best yesterday too, so I just think it was the stress to try to get this thing going, and people were ticked me off too. So
yeah.
good thing for me to be in charge right now. I'm not supposed to be in charge. It's supposed to be them. Why are you contacting me? Oh, speaking of that, I've offered either May 7th or May 14th to Robert for the Swedish movie trailer thing.
Is that like a Friday?
It's a Friday. It's usually the DemiCon light, or it's not. Do you have something on the 7th?
No, I don't have anything, but I'm thinking Robert will want a different day because he does karaoke as
Well,
a DJ.
I told him it was Friday, and he's like, "Oh, that's fine." So maybe we should
okay.
do the 14th, because that's at 7 o'clock, and we could just give it to him at 7 and just let him run, and we'll do the meeting after. How's that sound?
Okay. Or you can do one of the DemiCon light nights. I don't have anything specific planned.
Well, you start at 7:30, don't you, on DemiCon lights?
Oh, they can start anytime.
Okay.
I think I'd pick 7:30 for some things because people were wanting later, but it can start at 7. It can start at 6. I don't care.
Okay. So I'll offer him and say either night start at 7. There's Rachel. Rachel. All right. Bring her in.
Oh, and I have a cat trying to help me.
Hello.
We've hit recording just because we know that you want to record. And
That's awesome.
so Judy is your moderator, and I'm going to just step back and enjoy and relax. And let
Okay.
you
Well,
be in charge.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got yes, it's being recorded, so we've got that out of the way there.
All
And you're
right.
going to be doing a reading, so hey, we're in good shape here. Just got to wait for
Perfect.
people to show up.
Yes. I love your background.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I think we need
That
to
is cool.
organize and have somebody do a Zoom background for every TARDIS. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be perfect. Yeah, I've got a lot of backgrounds, but I don't have any TARDIS ones.
They're fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Rest
hadn't
of
thought that's perfect.
The rest of the time I'm on the Enterprise, so this works.
Yeah, I have seen the Enterprise one. That one's fun. So I've got a lot of the Marvel ones and yeah, a few odds and ends. I think I have Enterprise, pretty sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun ones.
Yeah. So how's your DemiCon going?
Oh, pretty good. Been keeping busy. How's your con been going?
Good, no complaints. So we've had
good.
a lot of fun. Last panel I was on, we were talking about horror tropes, and it was great. Everyone participated. Great. We had a good, fun discussion, because anytime you start talking about horror movies, you're going to have some fun.
Yeah, that was opposite the charity auction, so I had to miss it. But there's
Yeah.
another horror panel after this.
Oh, okay. Could be. I need to check schedule.
I know. It's like I was looking because, some of our usual horror fans are going to be in that one.
Yes. Yeah, I intentionally didn't look at the ones right before and right after my panels because I wanted to make sure I always got on and off on the right time. Yeah, I love the virtual con's great because you can attend more panels, and I feel like I get to participate more in the panels, but you lose out on the social aspect a lot on the virtual ones, where you
Oh,
just
I
can't
know.
run into people in hallways and all of that.
Yeah, I know. That's a big part of the con, is just running into people, standing
Yes.
around the hallways and talking.
Yeah. So when you get tired of standing, you go to the con suite and just sit. And yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. I know there's a horror panel. Yeah, 10 p.m. There will be a discussion of classic and current horror movies, as well as TV programs. Edwin Dane, Marcy Brightwell, Josh Bertocchi. There's some of the big horror fans. So here
Yeah.
locally.
Perfect.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so
Makes it that fun.
yeah, if you're still awake, well, if I'm still awake at that hour, for that matter. So
Yeah, I probably won't be. I'm an early to bed person early in the morning, but I also got my COVID vaccine just 2 days ago now. And I'm starting to feel human today, but it was my second dose and that it packed a wallop.
yeah, I know my second dose really knocked me out. I slept all day after that.
I
And
wish I could sleep. Oh, I'm sorry, God.
Oh, and it's also, I found out some people like myself also have some stomach problems afterwards. So keep that in mind, just in case you're one of the unlucky ones. So
Good to know. I know when I got it, it really knocked me on my butt, but I couldn't sleep because I was too miserable. It was probably the sickest I've ever been, but I couldn't eat any food for a full day. It was bad.
yeah,
Very queasy. Yeah, it was brutal.
yeah, it hit me. Actually, the stomach problem hit me about a week later. So I found,
Oh, weird.
yeah, I know. Cause yeah, it was kind of a surprise, but
Yeah.
yeah, I had other people talking to me, had the same kind of reaction. Apparently can kind of kill the good bacteria in your stomach.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So take lots of probiotics if you got them. So
Yeah. Do more yogurt and stuff.
uh-huh. Yes, I'm looking to the right. That's what I have here.
Yeah.
Yogurt and probiotics. Yes.
That was one of the first things I ate when I could eat again. And then the food still doesn't taste quite right, but that could just be from still recuperating. But yeah, COVID and the vaccine both have been so bizarre on how everyone gets different symptoms and different reactions. And it's all nasty stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least with the vaccine in our systems, yeah, we can feel a lot safer.
Oh, I agree. I feel like we can finally move forward where before it was just kind of living with COVID. And now I feel like, we're going to be able to beat you type thing.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's a good feeling.
It is 8:31.
Yeah.
We have the three of us here currently. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get you set up as on here for. I'm a co-host. Can I make you a host? I cannot make you a host, a co-host.
Oh, only two co-hosts.
No,
Mandy's.
Mandy, are you available to make Rachel a co-host? But you only really need to be a co-host if you're going to screen share anything.
Okay. No, I don't need to screen share anything. I was going to say if you needed to step away or anything and make me co-host in case anyone comes in to let them in, that's no problem.
Oh, no, I'll be keeping an eye on that.
Okay.
So let's see. Of course, yeah, we're recording it. Also, everything that is typed into the chat gets recorded, even direct messages.
All right. Yeah.
And I
Open my
will,
chat window.
and I'll give you a 10-minute warning when we're getting to the end of the time.
I don't think we'll have that problem probably at all tonight unless people come in with questions, but otherwise, yeah, I always intentionally try to go a little bit shorter on the reading to make sure I don't go long.
Okay, and if people type questions into the chat, do you want them to, do you want the questions during your reading or wait till the end?
I'll probably wait till the end. I've got the chat window open, but I doubt I'll look at it too much when I'm reading. I'll get into the zone.
Okay, sounds good. And do you have any questions?
I do not. So no, if anything pops up, feel free to interrupt me. So.
Okay, right, well, just go ahead and introduce yourself and your book and we'll get going if you'd like to.
I will. Thanks, Judy. All right,
you.
everyone. This is Rachel Aukes. I am I'm doing a book reading for you at this year's DemiCon. So go DemiCon. It's been a while. In the last year, I've had several new releases. 7 new books came out in 2020. So it was a busy year. And both with my Flight of the Javelin series, which I know quite a few of you have read. That was the spinoff of my Fringe series that stars Throttle, and she runs into all kinds of new things in space. And then the second series was the Bounty Hunter series, which was a post-apocalyptic science fiction Western that had a bit of a like Mandalorian flair to it. And I had fun writing that because I wanted a little something different. I've done a lot of space opera, and that was a blast. I've done 4 books in that one. And so, yeah, if you like spaghetti Westerns with sci-fi elements, that one is out now. And ironically, I'm not reading from either one of those series that are out. Instead, because I knew the theme of this year's DemiCon is on comics, manga, and anime, I want to talk about a book that I've sold the rights to. It's gone through editing, and it will come out this year. I don't have a release date on it yet. It's called Space Junk. But my favorite anime out there was Harlock, Space Pirate. And it's a Japanese anime. And I have just always loved Harlock. I don't know why. It's a romantic pirate hero. And so of course I fell in love with that because I'm a sucker for space pirates. And so I always wanted to have a hero, something like him. And so some ideas started percolating. I've been thinking about this series for a long time. It's actually a standalone book, but I did sell 3 books in it. So it is going to continue in the world, in the universe of Captain Jack Hale is the name of our space pirate in this. And it's the first book. It comes in about 450 pages. So it is a lot longer than a lot of my other books that tend to be pretty fast and episodic based. So this one will be a little bit more longer, traditional type novel. But it takes place it starts off in the not too distant future, just another 100 years or so, when we've done some spacefaring, we've done some initial colonization of our solar system, but we haven't gone like beyond our solar system or anything like that. And we're kind of struggling with colonization, with nationalism. We're not really playing that well together until this alien AI also shows up. And it's a von Neumann probe type species, and they're completely peaceful, and they want to share their technology in exchange for helping them build more probes, giving them resources for that, and no violence. Their big thing is no violence against biological life of any kind. And so that's where our story kind of first gets started. So thanks to this alien AI species called the Waymakers, there's a new single Earth government that forms called Soul Core, and they using the new technology given to them, they can control everything. And we fill up the solar system pretty fast with colonization, and there's good and bad with it. The bad thing is Soul Core truly does control everything and everyone. They dictate everything. And the problem is humans seem fine with it. They kind of develop this kind of sense of ennui about life and just put up with all the bad that comes with complete government control. So long story short, the hero of our book, Captain Jack Hale and his crew, they're not fine with it. And even if it means they need to go against this massive corporate or government structure, Soul Core, and its all powerful alien AI helpers. So the whole book is a story of about this very special crew, because they have a couple of neat aces up their sleeves, and about how they bring revolution into the solar system and against Soul Core in order to save humanity. So that's what I'll be reading to you tonight is from this book. All I have is printouts because I don't have the Aukes yet from the publisher, which should be coming soon. I can't wait to get the cover and all of that. It's always fun to see. So I'm going to read two little sections from the book. First one is a little bit of backstory to give you a hint of how Jack Hale came to be Jack Hale. So at the beginning of the book, the Waymakers, alien von Neumann probes arrive. They advance their technology. And so thanks to their tech, we now launch our first interstellar human crewed exploratory mission. So we're going to go outside our solar system with humans on board, a single crew, and see what's out there. Now, we don't have faster than light speed capabilities yet. So that means we need to do something for the crew members to survive. So they undergo the secret kind of transhuman program using nanotechnology to help them survive long-term travel. So they're stronger, faster, and obviously better than normal humans in all ways because they can live a lot longer. And as a hint, Captain Jack Hale and his crew, they're all part of this program. They're all on this initial mission. And the crew on this mission is called the Aria mission. That's the name of the ship. They're all on board. That's the ship that's been designed just for this mission. And so this first excerpt is just a very short little hint of backstory into what's happening to the crew right now on the Aria mission. Captain Lassiter locked her cabin door. She needed a solid hour of sleep with no distractions or else she was going to go crazy. She was exhausted. Everyone was exhausted. Ships always had errors, but Aria had more than she'd seen on even the oldest of junkers. The onslaught was wearing down the crew. Everyone was at each other's throats, and she was starting to have serious doubts about the mission's chance for success. She kicked off her boots and plopped onto her cot. On a normal day, she'd never be able to sleep without first meditating and clearing her mind. But she was so exhausted, she faded off as soon as her head hit the pillow. Her door clicked. She sat up and rubbed her eyes. She could have sworn she locked the door, or maybe she was just hearing things. Her armlet chimed. She answered it when she saw that it was Mac. "What is it?" "Get into your hab suit. The ship's performing a purge. I can't override it." "What are you talking about? Why would it?" Her door opened even though she hadn't pressed any button. She jumped to her feet and ran into the hallway when she noticed every single door open and confused crew members looking around. "What's going on, Captain?" someone asked. Her breathing caught as Mac's words sunk in. A ship was designed to conduct a total purge if an airborne biological agent or toxin was indicated on board. It was a necessary protocol in case a reactor leaked radiation. But purges could only be manually initiated and ran only after a series of warnings to the crew. There had never been a single warning. "Get into your hab suits." She raced back into her quarters. Her ears popped a split second before she was sucked back into the hallway. She tumbled in a tangled mess of crew members and items not fastened down as the outer doors were opened at the same time the air systems expunged everything in their reserves. The immense pressure brought tunnel vision. Her eardrums burst. She felt her hand break when something, or more likely someone, collided with her. She was tumbling through the hallways like a down feather blowing in the wind, slamming into walls and corners before everything went was quiet and cold, so cold it burned. People and material were somersaulting around her into the icy vacuum of space. The lack of pressure made every part of her feel like it was about to explode. She'd been shot before, been in ship crashes, but nothing came close to the agony she felt of being in space without a HAB suit. She inhaled only to feel her lungs freeze. Her eyes stung as though someone shoved 100 needles in them simultaneously. The nanites were designed to keep the crew alive for the duration of the mission, however long that would be. Being prototypes, no one really knew how well and how long the nanites would work. Oh, but they worked now, and she hated that they did. Rather than slinking into unconsciousness, she stayed awake. Every single cell of hers gouged for both the inside and outside at the same time. She saw the crew members around her experiencing the same nightmare. She could no longer move her eyes, but she could still see through a blurriness was coating everything. Her sight picture kept changing. Even though she didn't feel herself spinning, she knew she was. Aria was dark, not a single light shone, and every one of his doors still stood open. In the distance, she saw a shuttle, closer than it probably seemed, and its shape told her that it was an Aria shuttle, but she hadn't authorized any flights. Lights blinked on its hull, and she knew she was looking at saboteurs. Mutineers, more likely. They'd purged the ship so that they could return and have it all to themselves. Aria, humanity's only human crewed ship to ever leave the solar system. She wondered who it could be. Obviously someone on her crew, but her mind was becoming sluggish, so she focused her final thoughts on cursing them. May you suffer for eternity. So who do you think was on that shuttle? So could have been the saboteurs, but then what would they have to go back and fly? The shuttles weren't set up to last more than a few minutes or a few days out in space without connecting back onto the Aria, the main ship. So, or were they just some crew members that maybe took a unscheduled break off of the Aria and flew away? So it, depending on if they were the saboteurs or not, if they weren't, who would want to stop at interstellar space missions? So this takes Harlock, but it adds a whole lot of mystery and thriller suspense to it. There's going to be lots of questions in it, and you will get all of your answers by the end of the book. But obviously, Captain Lassiter doesn't make it, but someone does, because when we go forward a little over 200 years, when most of this book, Space Junk, takes place, we have Aria reconfigured as a updated pirate ship with Captain Hale and his crew now crewing her. So that brings us on to our next excerpt. And in this is just a brief little action excerpt. That word's not working for me. Where they are attempting to rescue a young girl. They had first rescued her already from a mining camp that had suffered a so-called technical glitch, and she was the only survivor. They were passing through at the time, and were called in by a friend of a friend and checked, and they saved her. And she's the only survivor, and she knows that it was not a technical glitch of why the mining camp was destroyed and everyone there killed. And so Soul Corps caught her and was taking her in for questioning, but they want to get her back because they know that once Soul Corps has her, they'll never see her again. And she is just a little 12-year-old, so they want to they got the heroic hearts. We got Captain Jack Hale. He is your classic romantic hero. So he is going to go in and try to save the day whenever he can, even though it might mean certain doom for himself. So I guess I should pause really quick. Does anyone, any questions or anything before I move into this excerpt?
None for me.
All right, Judy, thanks. All right, so let's take a quick glimpse into Captain Jack Hale and his crew in action. Jack grabbed his helmet and headed to the airlock. Vita and Byrne were already there wearing similar helmets, and Vita was extending a docking tube over to the other ship's airlock. HAB suits would be safer in case the other crew managed to space them, But hab suits were cumbersome and potentially deadly disadvantage when speed and dexterity mattered. Racer helmets, on the other hand, provided 10 minutes of emergency air if needed, along with built-in intercoms. Vita stood and slid down his sun shield, concealing his face. Tubes lock and sealed. Jack and Byrne also slid down their sun shields. The shields darkened the airlock somewhat, but the men preferred not to be recorded by Serval's video cameras that would be located throughout the ship. There is one thing Soulcore was known for. It was their love of surveillance. Byrne handed Jack a blowtorch, then he held up a small smoke canister. I'm ready. Jack nodded. Let's go. Vita took the lead through the docking tube, a gun in one hand. Jack followed with the blowtorch. Byrne followed with the smoke canister. They stopped at Serval's outer airlock where Vita jumped to the side, covering Jack. The panel next to the door displayed unlocked. Jack pressed the panel and the door opened. Vita stepped in first and shot the camera as soon as he entered the next airlock. Jack frowned. He hadn't expected it to be so easy. Kenna, we're entering the airlock now. Reading you loud and clear. By the way, their captain has sent a request to parley. Parley? Byrne asked. What the actual? He's watching one too many pirate movies. All right, tell him we're coming in and willing to talk, Jack said as he eyed the inner airlock door, which also displayed an unlocked message. He slung the torch across his back and pulled out a gun with his left hand. Ready? Ready, Vita and Byrne said in unison. Okay, Kenna, we're going in. Jack stood to the right of the door with Byrne right behind him. Vita stood to the left. He pressed the panel and the inner airlock door opened. Energy shots zipped by them. Holes pierced the docking tubes, sucking out the atmosphere and warmth. Stupid sons of... It wasn't going to be easy. Jack fired through the doorway without looking to see how many were on the other side. Vita and Jack laid down covered fire while Byrne tossed the canister inside. There were shouts the instant before the canister blew with a sound. There were several coughs as the smoky gas burned throats and eyes. Vita lunged first, firing as he entered. Jack followed, also shooting at any crew member still standing. 4 went down. Byrne shut the inner airlock door to keep more atmosphere from escaping, and he then shut the camera at the back of the ship. Vita took off running after 3 more sentinels who were coughing and fleeing the hallway, but one was trying to shoot over their shoulders. Vita took them all out with shots to their backs before searching for cameras and shooting them. 7 down, 5 left. Byrne shot another camera. Jack almost felt bad for the crew with all the cameras on them all the time. Almost. Put down your weapons. No one else has to get hurt. We're only here for the girl, Jack yelled. He had chosen the ship's aft airlock, which meant they only had to clear this in a single direction once they entered the smaller ship, though there was still a risk of danger behind every door along the way. Launching another smoker, Byrne announced and lobbed a canister down the hallway in front of them. The hallway was still smoky, but the ship's air scrubbers were already hard at work. Byrne's canister blew and filled the hallway with smoke. The smoke disoriented the crew, but it also prevented any good video capture of the crew. A door to Jack's left opened and a sentinel jumped out with a rifle. Jack took him out with a double shot before he could aim. Rifles made lousy weapons in close quarter fighting. 8 down, 4 to go. Byrne fired. Jack spun around to see a sentinel had been sneaking up behind. 9 down, 3 to go. You idiot, Byrne spoke to the man as he shot. Hey, it was him or you, Jack said. Stay with me. We're not done yet. Byrne took his eyes off the sentinel he'd shot and gave Jack a single nod. Looking around, he took out another pair of cameras, which seemed to draw his focus back into the mission. Jack and Vita were the fighters of the crew. Kana avoided violence, any violence not in the game, to the extent of never leaving the ship. Byrne abhorred violence, but he didn't shirk from doing what needed to be done. Though Jack knew his friend would be restless for the next few weeks while he ran through every scenario in his head on how he could have avoided shooting the sentinel, Byrne would eventually come to accept that it was the only option and life would return to normal, at least as normal as it ever could be on the Cabron. Jack would have left Byrne back on the ship, but 3 against 12 were far better odds than 2 against 12. They were nearly through the ship with only one closed door remaining, the bridge. Vita reached the door first. It's locked. She's in there, I'm sure of it. Jack holstered his gun and unslung the torch. He gave the door a once over, then he held down the trigger and started burning a hole around the door's edges. When all sides were scorched, he gave a quick glance to each of his crew, then he kicked in the door. Jack spun away to avoid getting shot, and sure as shit, the crew inside began firing right away. He dropped the torch and unholstered a gun. The firing stopped and the captain spoke. "Surrender or I'll kill her. If you shoot in here, you'll hit her too. How much is she worth to you?" "We can negotiate. We're coming in to talk." Jack held his gun ready to fire as he exposed himself. Vita and Byrne right behind him. Their armor would block shots to their chests and thighs, but it would still hurt like hell. Inside, the captain had a gun pressed against Hetty's temple. She was unconscious, so at least Jack hoped she was unconscious and not dead, and the captain held her propped against him. A sentinel stood on either side, seemingly unsure whether to aim their guns at Jack or at his crew members. "It didn't have to go down like this," Jack said, not taking his gun off the other captain. "Moreland's on the way here. Even if you kill us, you won't get away. They know who you are," the captain said. "So what? A game of cat and mouse could be how this plays out. Or you could give me the girl and we go our separate ways. You live, we live. Doesn't that sound a little more pleasant?" Jack asked. "The only way this plays out is if you back up off this bridge and return to your ship. If you take even a step in my direction, I'll kill her," the captain said. "If you kill her, you give up your shield. You willing to do that?" Captain said nothing. Sweat beaded on his brow. "Stand down, turn her over to me, and we'll let you live," Jack said. I'm going to take a step closer now." "You do it and she dies," the captain said in a rush. Jack glanced at the girl. His eyes narrowed and his scowl deepened. "She's already dead." The captain hesitated. Jack fired. His first shot went through the captain's hand. His second shot went through the middle of the captain's shocked expression. Vita and Byrne fired their shots before Jack's second shot. Serval's remaining 3 crew members collapsed. Jack checked on the girl. Her pulse was slow, but it was there. "Get her back to the ship. We need to get out of here. There's going to be an entire Soulcourt armada on her tail," he said, because he had no doubt that was exactly what was headed their way. All right, so that wraps up the excerpt for Space Junk. Has no release date yet, but it is coming out this year. We're just waiting to hear back from the audio publisher on when they're going to have that all ready to go. But yeah, the book is already all the way through the editor process, so it's just waiting to see the paperback arc and waiting on the audio, because they do like to release all the formats at the same time. For other releases too, on June 1st, I'm launching another series I'm writing with Jamie McFarlane. You might know him from the Rocketeer series or from the Junkyard Pirate. We have a blast writing together. We're launching a Space Trooper series is what it's called. And first book comes out June 1st. That's called Rebel's Call. Second book is September 7th. And third book comes out in December or January. They don't have a date on that yet. So we've got, we're nearly done with the second book and that all, and having fun.
Well, those sound like fun. Yeah. Yeah, I will definitely be checking out those books. I rather like space operas and pirates.
Oh, great. I do too. I'm a sucker for them. Always love writing them. So yes, that one's from the same publisher. That one's, and the audio is coming out through Blackstone Audio. So I know that will be available then through on Audible and everywhere audiobooks are sold. They do it wide, which is nice. So it just depends on your poison. If you like paperback, hardcover, ebook or audio, that one will be all those.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm an ebook person. They take up no space.
I know. Yes. It took me a while to get acclimated to ebooks. And but it took me probably maybe a year. And then now I just can't go back. I love ebooks because I just keep loading up my Kindle. If it was a bookshelf, my whole floor would be filled with books.
I know. I can go pick up my Kindle and go, what am I in the mood for? and there's books there. And yes, if I ever move, it weighs nothing.
Yes. Yeah, I love it because and I like some books in audiobook depending on who the narrator is. So I'll buy ebook on some, audio on others, because I'll listen to books at times I can't read. Like if I'm doing house cleaning or some project like woodworking or something, I can do listen to audio, or driving in a car. And but yeah, and otherwise it's Kindle or like Comixology or something, because I have a Marvel Unlimited account. So I always like to keep up on my comics too. So I just need more time to read all the
Yeah.
books I want to read.
I know
That's the
that's one of the
trick.
reasons I started on the audiobooks is, yeah, you can listen to them while you're doing housework.
Yes.
So yeah, more time to read.
Yes, that's why I did it, because I feel like I was falling behind on my to be read pile, because I have over 100 books on my Kindle that I still need to read. It's pitiful.
Yeah, I'm afraid to really look and count what's on my Kindle. So I'll go, oh, that looks good. That looks good.
Yes. Well, especially when you hear about them on sale and things like that. Yeah, they're too easy to pick up on ebook. They've got that all figured out to get
Yeah,
us.
I don't have to
All right.
store it.
Yes. Yep. They work out nice. So yeah, that is all I've got for now, but it'll be a busy year again for releases, because I'll have a minimum of probably 5 books come out this year, because 3 with Jamie and then another 2 out of the space junk. The series is going to be called Waymaker Wars, because obviously there's going to be a lot happening there. But yeah, the first book's called Space Junk that I just read from.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've read 100 Days in Deadland because my sister's a big zombie fan. I'm not so much of a zombie fan. I prefer space operas, so I'll be checking those out.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, looking forward to it. I do have a post-apocalyptic series planned, but it fell onto a back burner as soon as I signed the contract for Space Junk. So, because at first I thought Space Junk, I tried to sell the book and I figured they'd buy just 1 book, but when they wanted 3, that definitely changes my plan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm about halfway done with a sci-fi thriller. So that's been fun. Something different than what I've written before. So that one's been a blast.
That
So we'll
sounds
see how that
interesting.
turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stars a game warden, a female game warden who comes across different cases of like cryptid cases and cryptozoology type cases. So it comes across things that like, Bigfoot or that kind of stuff, but it'll all have kind of a scientific type, very real world feel to it, but with all of the cryptozoology angles. So it should be, I've been having a blast with it.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We'll see how it, once I wrap it up, I'll see who's interested in taking it. Cause that one I don't plan on self-publishing or anything. I'd like to see it go a little bit wider.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me for now. So everyone, updates are, I do a newsletter, or I also do a little status page update on my website too. Cause I know some people, we all feel like we get too many emails. So I do try to keep my website always up to date with a little status update page.
What's your webpage? And I'll type that into the chat so it's recorded.
Oh, thanks. Website is www.rachelaukes.com. So RACHELAUKES.com. And yeah, everything you need to find there, from buy links to upcoming releases, you can find on that site.
Okay, RachelAukes.com. And of course, autocorrect tries to tell me something different.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, spelled it right. Of course, autocorrect loves my name, so.
I bet. How do you pronounce your last name?
Zeitz, nothing like the spelling.
Really?
Yeah,
Sites.
Slovenian, so. So
Oh,
it's like
that is
the
cool.
A kind of morphs into an I. The J is a very hard J, so it sounds like a T. So Zeitz.
That's good to know. I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, I don't expect anyone to.
I think I called her Sajeric the first time.
Yeah. Judy Z works too, because
Yeah.
yeah, that's what most people call me, Judy Z. So
Yeah. Yeah. For not being a long last name, it's only 5 letters, but
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I thought I complained about people not pronouncing mine right, but yeah, yours is guaranteed to mispronounce.
Well, yeah, they don't stand a chance with Aukes. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I got that memorized now.
Yeah. All right.
did-
So yeah, I'm
did I
all
say it
set.
right?
So yeah, you did. Yeah,
Yay.
you said it right. Yeah. Yeah. Usually people try to condense it into a single syllable, which I'm fine with, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a warm fuzzy low when someone says it quite right. So so yeah, thank you for having me. And I hope the rest of DemiCon goes awesome. It's been a super conference so far.
Good.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you. I greatly enjoyed the reading.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I look forward to being able to share the cover and release date and everything for it.
Great.
Yes. All right. Well, yeah, y'all have a good weekend then. Suppose we'll wrap
Okay.
up a little early.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's see. Stop recording.
I feel